More on the global bike sharing market. I'm joined by Yu Zhang. She is an associate professor of civil and environmental engineering at the University of South Florida. You know, when I was in China, it seemed like everybody's jumping on these bikes. They know how to use them. They love them. Here in Washington, there's bike sharing, but I don't see the business being as brisk. Why do you think the U.S. is just kind of taking a while to kind of catch on to this?
I think the e-commerce in the U.S. versus the mobility, mobile payment in the U.S. is not so well developed as in China. So in China, lots of people get used to just carrying the phone and pay everything from the smartphone app, either Alipay or WeChat Pay, and it's very convenient. So I think they kind of get used to that culture. So it's easy for them to adapt.
Kind of ahead of their times compared to the U.S. in that sense. Talk to me about the competition because it's been really fierce between bike sharing companies like Mobike and Ofo. Were they too aggressive because you know, you saw so many companies flooding the market and then there's been a dialing back?
Yes, when the new business model came to the market, I think people seized the opportunity, and also the venture capital seized the opportunity. So that's why there were so many startup companies. But in the last several years, we are seeing the market kind of calm down, and some of them were driven out, and others either acquired by those e-commerce tycoon, or they are struggling because of the cash flow problems. So I think that will go on, and we are seeing the changes of the market.
The Chinese government is also looking to better regulate this sector. What's going to be the long-term impact of that, do you think?
Yes, previously there's no regulation on how many bicycles could be on the street and where they should park and what the malfunctioning bicycles should be handled. But I think now, because the problems caused by the flushing of the bicycles on the street and occupying the public space, so more cities come up with regulation and restrict how the bike sharing programs could be deployed and how they should be operated. So that definitely will increase the cost of the bike sharing companies, and that will change the competition of the different companies in China.
And then one of the other things that's really kind of come to light of late is these customers paying deposits. Some of the companies are relaxing deposits. Ofo is now the only major company in China that doesn't have a deposit-free plan. And you were talking about cash flow as being an issue, and I suspect that's probably playing into that. Is that going to hurt them long term? What's your take on that?
Definitely, because after Mobike was acquired by Meituan, Dazhong, they released the requirement of the deposit, because now the smartphone app of the Mobike actually integrated into Meituan. So it looks like there's a credit system of the customer that can support the bike sharing. However, Ofo actually they do not have that kind of support, and they try to work with Ali, like Ant Financial, to use their credit system, but it didn't work. So I think Ofo tried to set up their own credit system, but it will take a really long time, and it will make them into adverse position in the competition.
Where do you see the sector going? Because as I mentioned earlier, it seemed like it was on fire. We saw dozens entering the market. Now it's been pared back significantly. Where do you see the future?
I think in the future, dependent on which country that we're talking about, in China, we probably will see more companies will be driven out of the market in the next 2 or 3 years. And in terms of Ofo, we know that some e-commerce tycoon actually contacted them. And so maybe in the near future, there's some acquisition or merger of the companies. Now, if that not happen, if they cannot solve the cash flow problem, then that will be big trouble for them. And in the U.S., you know, we are seeing more and more cities and started to kind of embrace the dockless bike sharing. But that needs to be integrated into the multi-modal transportation systems of each city, which each of them have their own kind of challenges. So there's no kind of one-for-all solution for different cities. So I think the city department and also the local advocates need to work together and come up with a really good solution to solve the problem.
Some very good advice there. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.